Hey guys, and welcome to this video on Atlantis, okay? The information that we're going to be reading today is going to be from the book Convoluted Universe by Dolores Cannon. And I'm very excited to share this because I have been guided to share information on Atlantis. And the reason of this is because, let me grab my little journal here. Okay, so the purpose of remembering Atlantis is to retrieve lost codes and reconstruct our DNA, okay? To remember and trigger memories that will help us in our ascension process, okay? The Atlanteans left us a legacy within the crystalline lattice, and we need to know this, okay? The Atlantean priests consciously transferred information into the networks and grids of consciousness that we are now accessing. And they put those codes in there to be accessed on or around the 2012 time period, with manifestations set to occur between 2017 and 2021. Okay, and because we are in the ascension journey, we are becoming aware of our psychic abilities, and by reading this transmission, we are getting memories, and our memories are being activated, and this helps in the retrieving and remembering of our own psychic abilities as well as a byproduct, okay? Because the information from this book really touches upon the Atlantean psychic abilities, and it triggers us, okay? And all we need is just simple words can trigger our DNA, because it speaks to a deeper level of us. Okay, and so let's get right down to it. Okay, in my previous video, by the way, I also spoke about Atlantis from the book Divine Architecture and the Starseed Template, Matrix Memory Triggers for Ascension by Magenta Pixie. And she dedicated a chapter on Atlantis, okay? And some of the stuff that I read to you guys here from my journal was actually like little excerpts from that, from the book. So that's really cool. And so it really gave like an overall Atlantis I guess transmission for us. Okay, this is throwing me off. Let's take these glasses off. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so no, matter of fact, I want to put them back on. Alrighty, okay, my bookworms. So what I'm going to do is that I am going to, in this part, okay, because the chapter from here, from Convoluted Universe, is actually really long. So I decided to just touch upon some things that I felt like were important, okay, and I highlighted a lot of things as well, okay, and so I'm going to just give a small excerpt about how it's set up, okay? This is not just going to be like a reading information about Atlantis, okay? Dolores Cannon, okay, was a transgressive hypnotherapist, and so her clients went into deep trances where they retrieved a lot of powerful information, and I think I'm going to read it here anyway, where it says that the information that she has gathered on Atlantis for this book, okay, and this chapter has been collected for over 15 years. So it's awesome, and it's so amazing for us to remember this. Okay, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty and let's read. Okay. Alright, so it says here, when my subjects are in the deepest level of trance, we can access the subconscious directly in a variety of ways. I have discovered that all knowledge is available once you tap into the wisdom of the subconscious mind. Often the person is given the information directly through past lives, and other times they are taken to places where they can access the information and interpret it for themselves. This is often done by visiting the library on the spirit side. In this wonderful edifice, all the knowledge that has ever existed and will ever exist is contained on every conceivable subject. Okay. So it says here, some of the information on the subject of Atlantis may seem contradictory at first glance, but I do not agree, because I think the various subjects were seeing it at different times in its existence. I have found that Atlantis was not a single continent, city, or place. It was a name given to the world as a whole at that time. The name has become associated with the most developed part of the civilization, but all of the world was not at the same level, similar to ours at the present time. This remarkable civilization existed for thousands of years, so it underwent many changes as it rose to the highest advances mankind was capable of achieving, and then descended in its gradual deterioration and downfall. One only has to look at the history of our own world over the past 1,000 to 2,000 years to see a parallel. Okay. So Dolores would ask. So when her clients were in a trance, Dolores would ask questions and then they would answer it. Okay. And so I'm gonna just be like asking questions and answers. So I hope you guys can follow along. Okay. So Dolores asked, there were other civilizations, but you want to zero in at this one at this time. You seem to desire the information about this one, which was, I guess, the main Atlantis, like the most developed one. The development was steady in all of these civilizations. Atlantis was slightly ahead because they started developing first, but the other civilizations developed as well, so they could all work together. For the good of mankind, it was necessary. So the civilization continued to advance. The people were a pretty people. They were generally happy, good-featured, they were emotionally healthy as well as physically healthy, which helped them make them a fair people. Not meaning necessarily light, but fair as in pretty. Your language is very imprecise with its descriptive words. Was this the only way they communicated, just through the mind? No, they also communicated verbally, but it was a mixture of both, and they just took it for granted. They never really differentiated whether they were communicating verbally or mentally, because they would be doing so both simultaneously. Was this something they had to learn, or did it come naturally? All human beings have the natural predilection for this. It was bred into the race, but it was a matter of developing it. For example, all human beings generally have 5 hands with 5 fingers. These hands are extremely skillful tools, and they can do very delicate manipulative type work, but only if you develop the muscles and use the hands. It is the same way with psychic abilities. All human beings have psychic abilities, but the only way they can be developed is by using them. But this was something that came naturally to these people? No, they had to develop it. It was just considered part of the normal maturing process, but they were more conscious of it than people in general are today. They considered it to be a normal part of a child's development, developing muscular skills as well as psychic skills. They didn't ignore the signs the way they are ignored today. It was there waiting to be developed, but they did have to work at it, like they would have to work at learning how to walk. The ability had always been there, but it took them a while to realize it was consistently there. Early humans relied on it for survival, but didn't realize what they were doing. Then later, when humans became civilized, many times they would forget about it, but it was still there. And then, when their civilization developed with the help of the galactic community, they realized it was something that could be developed. Their science pointed out that they needed to be a harmonious whole themselves to be in harmony with the universe in general. And this was part of yourself. It was not developed. You would not be balanced, and you would not be a harmonious whole. Upon the rare occasion that one would fall ill, their psychic abilities would help them locate where they were out of balance from the basic energy levels of the universe. And so they use their psychic abilities in countless ways, in the smallest details of everyday life. It would be impossible to list all the ways. We would be here for a very long time just listing different ways their psychic abilities could be used. The psyche is much more dexterous than just the mind, although it is functioning through the mind. It is a different aspect of the brain than mind is. Mind and psyche are 2 different aspects that work through the organ called the brain. One is basic and takes care of the necessities of life, and the other adds the details and finishing touches. It can be very precise and do things that the mind would be incapable of doing because it is not fine-honed enough. Did they have a government of any kind? At first, yes, but then it changed as the civilization developed because the original purposes of the government became obsolete due to the psychic powers. And so the government gradually altered and changed to where it had another purpose. They put organizational structure to better use elsewhere, like organizing research. The scientific community, or was it considered that in those days? The scientific community, or was it considered that in those days? It really wasn't considered that because the research being done was mostly based on mystical and psychic things. And so it was considered individual quests. Whenever people had insights about things, they would report it to this organizational body so they can keep track of the fact and see how it fit into the whole picture, because they considered every fact to be pertinent. And they would collect all these facts together and organize them and fit them into the whole picture to try to better understand the nature of the universe. This involved every single person. It was very complex, and the organization was needed. So that's what happened to the original governmental structure. Did they keep records of some type? Yes, they had to keep very extensive records. Due to the nature of this civilization, they did not have computers per se, but they had a way of storing information using the basic energy of the universe that could be tapped into with psychic abilities, perhaps similar to the way we are collecting information. That was their major storage area, and that is why your archaeologists have not found anything. Their information is still stored there and ready to be tapped into. You only need to develop the correct psychic abilities to be able to tap into it. They had paper-like products for teaching the children to read and illustrating how to develop their psychic abilities and such, and that rotted long ago. Okay, so I just wanted to add in there how in the beginning of the video I mentioned that the information, that the legacy that they left us was left in the crystalline lattice, okay? And so this is just a confirmation of that their legacy, okay, was left to us, I guess, in a different plane, okay? And we are now being able to tap into that legacy, that information, okay? And that is why I've been very guided to share information on Atlantis. There's something very important that we need to learn, and so we must remember, okay? So I'm just very happy to say that. It was just such a confirmation, okay? So oh look, it says, I think the scientists are expecting to find something written down or carved or some kind of record like that. Yes, the record is there, but it's on the psychic planes. It's very organized, and it's stored and ready to use, and it will be of great benefit to your world. It's almost like Akashic records, but not quite, because Akashic records are part of the universe. They took that concept and found it could be used to set up a different sort of records. It exists on a sort of energy level. Okay, so this is more on psychic abilities, okay? This video, I guess, is just really touching upon their psychic abilities, and we need to remember that. Okay, it appears that they were highly psychically developed. Yes, but the destruction of Atlantis frightened them very much. It gave them the equivalent of a mental trauma, like when an individual suffers a severe mental trauma in their younger life, and it affects them the rest of their life unless they become aware of it and work through it and resolve it. The entire human race received the equivalent, and also the way in which Atlantis was destroyed and the way psychic focusing centers were destroyed, it gave everybody a temporary psychic burnout. It would be like accidentally seeing an explosion too closely, and your eyes would be temporarily blinded. And this affected them for several generations. Yes, the ability was still there, but it was numbed for a while. Then it gradually started getting its feeling back, and it didn't take as long as you might think. But humankind subconsciously remembered this, and so they avoided developing psychic abilities for several thousand years, afraid that they would be burned again, so to speak. Okay, So this is all I'm going to share in this video, okay? My next video is going to be on the way they used crystals. This video really touched upon their psychic abilities in the hopes that it'll really speak to us on another level, okay? And so it's very important for us because we have such great similarities to the Atlanteans at this point, the way we are developing in terms of our ascension, our psychic abilities and everything. And so this is why I made this video right now. Okay, so I wanted to make it short, not too long. I thought it was going to be way longer than this, but thankfully it's not. And in my next video, we are going to be talking about how the Atlanteans used crystals. And it's crazy because suddenly, like, we got this crystal movement going on, right? Like, and so it really makes so much sense that there is a legacy that the Atlanteans have for us. There's something that we need to learn about them. And look at all these similarities, the psychic abilities, the uses of crystals. And I mean, I didn't hear a lot about crystals when I was growing up until after you know, when everybody's becoming so much more in tune and the ascension process is popping right now. Okay. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that this video triggered you, okay, spoke to you, and helped you to expand. And hopefully you guys will do some more research on Atlantis. Please look at my other videos on Atlantis, and we're also going to be talking about the fall of Atlantis, which was actually very interested and shared in detail from this book, The Convoluted Universe. Okay, so I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!